Okay guys, so I've played about an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes of Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour, a game that really is a tech demo that I feel, and many of you might be asking, should be free. I think it should be free. Overall it costs £8 or $10, and my thinking of it being that it should be free is not based on the quality, but really based on what exactly it is. And if you've experienced demos that you've got free with the PlayStation console, for instance, that showcases things like the controller and various accessories and so forth, there is even like a VR one for PlayStation VR 1, which would breed the mascot Astrobot, which then turned into a full game that cost a full $60, $70 or what have you. In this case, what they've done here is they've made the reverse decision with Nintendo here, is they've decided to not create a mascot or something and then charge you full money for a full platform game or so forth. They just charge you for a demo, and that's essentially what this is a bunch of tech demos that teach you about all the aspects of the controller, the features of the Switch 2, such as if you have a 4K screen, if you have HDR demo wasn't very good at all. And that's the thing as well, some of it's hit and miss. They teach you about things about the touch screen and so forth, so you have to take out the touch screen and do that. We did that in the video as well, all those kind of stuff. And overall, while it's solid and there's something about the Nintendo not having within Nintendo not having achievements per se as well, it makes it feel even more hollow, especially with the fact that you can just hold down your Y button and get the medals as a means of, in case you can't do the demo. Now, I don't know if that's something you can manipulate actually with all of the demos or all of the mini games that you can't beat or can't complete, but you can just cheat your way through it as well. That might be just for the demos or what have you, but the games are, as you'll see in the clips that are showing, and if you watched the performance itself, you'll see that some of them are hit and some of them are miss. The technology is very cool and it can be fun to play them, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like you should have paid for it. It feels like it's sort of been perfect as one of the first game experiences that you can have, having just bought your Switch 2 fresh. It feels weird for them to charge money for it. And overall, as much as you can care about or not care about Metacritic and so forth, it is reviewing mixed last I checked. And that's because it's quite polarizing. It's quite a polarizing option to charge for Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which effectively should be what you get when you buy the product new. And because of that, I'm kind of left a little bit mixed, because it's not, these type of demo things are not things I tend to finish. I play them for a bit and then I'm kind of done with it. If you're the type of person that will just tackle all of these kind of things and just enjoy it, it's going to be more valuable to you. And it isn't, thankfully they're not charging full price for this thing, right? If they're charging full price, it would be easy, like, no, don't do it. But it is very cheap. I got £4 off my gold points, which they're removing. So it cost me about £3 after the gold points. I think the price they're charging is about maximum that they could be charging for it, really, because it is about that value. And it just baffles me that they charge money for it. Now, at the same time, I have to accept that Nintendo are one of the companies, as far as I'm aware, that doesn't lay off a bunch of their staff. They might not be the most popular when it comes to the consumer in terms of their decisions, but their decisions definitely keep their employees happy and keep them at the company until they retire. So I have to give them points for that. Even though I don't agree with it necessarily or understand all the decisions sometimes, they must know what they're doing and there must be a reason why they decided to charge for this. But I think that as far as what I don't know, or the little that I do know, I feel like it should have been a free product that should have been available with the console. That would have made it a little bit extra sweeter, especially when you consider all the extra cost of the console, which I think is justified in terms of the potential and the features, and the extra price of the actual games themselves, and upgrades. You have to pay for upgrades if you're not on Nintendo Switch Online for some of the games as well, which is pretty crazy again in some ways, because obviously it's normal with PlayStation do it all the time with every upgrade and every remake that was only from a game from last week. These days is charged like $10 or whatever. They're doing the same thing with Nintendo here, I guess. It's a little bit cheaper, but it's still pretty wild. I think they could have had some good faith if they'd actually just given this away and just kind of took those things into account. But yeah, for me overall, it's above average. There's some cool games in there and that. I think rating this out of 10 for me, with the consideration that I feel like it should be free and not something that I would necessarily care to fully finish and get every single thing, unless I was going to do an actual test on the technology of the Switch 2, which definitely gives you enough interest in knowledge and stuff like that. And if you're that kind of person, this is going to be great for you. For me, I'm going to give this roughly probably about a 6.5 out of 10. It's solid. It's above average. As the screen goes dark, it doesn't agree with me. It's above average, but if you played any of these demo things before, you've kind of been there and done it and seen it. It's something that works great as a freebie, not as much as a paid offering, in my opinion, and that's going to put a lot of people off. So I think that unless you really want to know about all the technology behind the Switch, 2, or you're a completionist wanting all the Nintendo games, or you're hardcore and you just love these kind of demo games that just showcase all the features from the mouse to the screens, to the touch screens, to the 4K, to the HDR, to the audio cancellation feature, all that stuff, like audio cleaning, audio isolation, all that kind of stuff. You want to see all that kind of thing. And I have to admit, I'm a little intrigued to see what they do with some of the other bits and pieces. But I don't think unless you fit that bill, you should buy this necessarily, or you should wait for a discount maybe. I think it should have been free, but it's overall solid. So if you do buy it, knowing what it is and seeing what you've seen and seeing the gameplay we've already done, if you haven't seen that video, then you know what you're getting into and you'll probably be happy or happy enough. But yeah, it's a demo. It is a paid demo at the end of the day. There's no denying that. I had fun with it for what it was, but I'd have felt better about it if it was free. And so that's where I leave it at 6.5 out of 10 for Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour for the Switch 2. $8 or $10, £8 for a tech demo. Let me know what you think in the comments below or wherever relevant. Thank you for subscribing to the content if you haven't already, and liking so I can make more content like this for you. And there'll be a video on the screen now that is related to more reviews or unboxings or other cool things for the Nintendo and Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo ecosystem. Yes, we done it.